This thing is insane.
It's so much fun. It's just such a fun car.
So I wanted to do a little bit of interview.
Okay.
Just outside of like us driving, because one, the wind, two, it's loud.
Yes.
And three, I went through like 90 different emotions and I'm physically exhausted from all of that. So I don't really know where to begin, because usually I do most of the interview in the car, but we were kind of talking about like, so you bought this in 2017. 16. And you paid 20 grand for it. And you bought it with how many miles?
4,800.
4,800,
so
and it's got
34,000.
34,000. So you are the true buy it and use it and enjoy it driver of this car. But it's in like perfect shape. Like it's
almost.
I mean, there's like
there's a couple little things.
Yeah, there's like little things here.
Yeah,
the wheels. But it's for a 25-year-old car that you've driven 25,000 miles.
Yeah.
And how we drove it today, like if you're driving it like that, and
things are gonna happen. Yeah.
Like that was so. I say this every time we go into every car. Like I get in every car, I want to buy that car. But this is tops that now. It's like, this is insane.
Kind of a life-changing experience. At least it was for me the first time I drove a first gen. It was like, wow, this is something special.
Yeah, if you're soul searching, you should just drive one of these, or just get in one with you.
Yes. That works. It's a lot less expensive.
If you're looking for the meaning of happiness in life, like this is the
buy one of these.
This is the car to be in.
Yes.
This is insane. Like just the power, like the raw power creates so much raw emotion for me, like when you're in it. No wonder why you've just kept it this long. And I mean, and so to be able to get, I mean, you probably realize how lucky you are to get in where you did, right?
I did. It was kind of, I was torn between a Corvette or a Viper. So I had driven a first gen Viper and I was like, man, they're so much fun. And then I went to Edmark and they had this beautiful LS3 C6 with like 30,000 miles on it. They wanted too much, but I wanted to drive one just to like feel it and see it. And it, even though it was faster, it just didn't feel as fast, which was interesting. I didn't know how to explain that before. And then I even drove a Z06. I drove a C6 Z06, which was in the same price range as a Gen 3 back then. And again, like it was faster, but it just didn't feel, it wasn't the same experience.
It's too modern.
Completely, It was modern, but it was quiet. It just didn't, I don't know how to, it just didn't feel like it had the same soul.
It doesn't feel like you've jumped out of the car and you're rolling down the road. At 40 miles an hour.
Yeah.
Like when we pulled into the gas station, it felt like I opened the door and just jumped out.
Right.
And we're just pulling into a gas station. Never mind, like when you're taking a corner, like those corners, some of those said what, like 25, we're probably taking what, 40?
Yeah,
50?
40, 45.
That felt like
more
200 miles an hour.
Coming out of them, some of them at like 60.
Okay, but that felt like 200. Like that felt so fast.
Yeah.
So fast. It's insane.
It is. And there's not a lot of cars that feel faster, which is really funny because there's a lot of cars that are faster, much faster, but none of them feel as fast as this car until you really start putting down a lot. Or a newer Viper. One of my friends had a Gen 5 with a 9-liter build, so it made like 750 at the wheels. It felt more nuts than this because it made that much more power, but it was still, even though a newer Viper, it still puts the power down very similar to the way these did back then, and it's still raw, even though it's more comfortable and has more features and whatnot. Still that raw, crazy experience that you don't get in any Ferrari I've driven, Lamborghini. None of them have feel this way.
And even like, you know, I should have an Hellcat episode out as we're filming this by the time this comes out, and that, you know, the torque on that throws you in the seat, and it's so fast, but you don't feel like, you feel fast than most cars, but you do not feel like you do in this car. It's slower but faster. It's just crazy. You
definitely feel the weight in the Hellcat a lot. This feels super light, even though they're kind of heavy. They weigh 3,200 pounds.
Do they really?
Somehow, I don't know. I think it's between the frame and the engine, because the engine's, even though it's an aluminum block, it still weighs a lot. You know, just being an 8-liter, it's big.
So it's an 8-liter V10.
Yes.
pushing 400 horsepower,
Yep.
and no traction control,
Nope.
ABS,
Nope.
no ABS,
No ABS.
no AC,
Nope.
power steering,
Yes.
power steering.
It's power steering.
I would hope so.
It's actually
You
the
would
first...
have much bigger arms if
Yes,
it didn't have power
I would.
steering.
Yeah, I wouldn't be a little chicken arm. They do. This was the first year that AC was an option, and for
That's
some,
right. Yeah, they did because it has the knob.
It does. You can go to that one extra spot, but the genius that optioned it decided they didn't need it.
Do you know where it originally was bought?
It's either Nevada or California.
Nevada or California.
I'd have to look at.
But you bought it in Reno.
Right. I'd have to look back at the. I still have the original bill of sale.
Yeah.
I'd have to look. I can't.
If
remember.
everything works out, do you think you'll keep it forever? And
We've made so many memories with it. We did 182.4 in Sun Valley, which was recorded with lasers.
Yeah, sounds American.
And
182.4 miles per hour.
yes,
In this.
and this car is pretty much stock besides the open headers.
Who was
That's
in it?
the
You and
only-
your wife?
Yep. So I had a passenger at 6,000 feet, and we still did 182.
That was for Tour de Force.
Right, and that so far is the fastest recorded Gen 1, stock Gen 1 speed I've ever seen anyone run. I haven't seen anyone post
Do you have
anywhere
proof
on
of
the
it?
forum. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
You have
we
to
have-
send that to me. We'll have
yes.
to put it on here because if I post something and say,
Yes.
if we say that,
Yes. No, absolutely. I have proof. I have it on video. I have my car on video flying by, and the lasers, and then the board with the numbers and everything.
that's
So,
insane.
Yeah. We did have the hardtop on it. My friend has a first gen, so I borrowed a hardtop, and that makes a
They
big
marry
difference.
up like that? Like you can do that? And
Well, yeah, they made hardtops for them. I've heard that they are a factory option, and they aren't. I'd have to look. I'm not 100% sure, honestly. But they have a bunch of different hardtops that you can buy for them. Kind of like a Roadster. You just put it on. But it does make a huge difference with the drag coefficient.
Well, I'm sure. Yeah.
So,
yeah.
and I think that's partly why we were able to go so fast, because it's a very slick car, actually.
Right.
I'll give it a nice little pull.
Holy shit!
That was only like 90
Dude.
in third gear. It's fun.
Like, I think I just died and went to heaven.
Yeah, the sound is really unique, and you just feel everything.
Yeah, that type of pull, even if another car has a stronger pull, you don't feel it like that.
Yeah, like the Audi, the S4, the launch in the Audi is ridiculous because it's all-wheel drive. So if you do a launch, it's nuts. But the actual just pull, the linear pull, it doesn't feel as fast, which is funny because it's faster. But
yeah, no, you feel that. I've never felt anything like that before.
It's very torquey. There's just a lot of raw torque just in your face.
But even when you were pulling into the gas station, you just feel it. Even just coming into there, I felt it more, the turn and everything.
Yeah,
it's like old school muscle cars. You just feel the road way more.
Right. I mean, it is very direct.
Yeah. Oh my god.
If you want to play with it, you just got to be careful because you're doing all the balancing. There's no traction control. There's no stability. There's no ABS.
It's wild. Why a Viper? Did you just always wanted one, or?
Yeah. So for a while, I really wanted a Viper. It's one of the cars on my dream list, I guess.
Okay.
I actually didn't want a first gen though. I wanted a third gen because it was more practical and it made more power.
Had AC.
Windows, airbag. It was just a more practical car, and it made more power, so it was faster.
Right.
I did I had driven a Gen 1 before and I loved it. It was super fun. And I was like, man, if that's the slowest Viper, then I can't imagine what a, you know, having more power's like.
Yeah.
Or the slowest Viper, yeah, because the Gen 1s were the slowest. So I was like, if that's the slowest Viper they made, I can't imagine what having more power's like. So anyway, I was just browsing. I wasn't planning on buying one yet. And then I saw this one pop up down in Reno, and it was a really crazy deal. And I thought, there's no way. And I clicked on it. There was one picture, and the article said less than 5,000 miles, clean title, 21.5. And I was like, no way. Like, that's got to be a scam.
Yeah.
And so I looked around, and there was a phone number. And so I was like, okay. So I called the phone number, and this older lady answered the phone. And then my first thought when this lady answered, I'm like, oh, this is a prank. She's gonna have no idea what the hell I'm talking about when I ask her. Lo and behold, it was legit. She was selling it. And so we got to talking and found out she was also in the Navy at some point. So we both had a military background, and because I had just enlisted. And so she sent me some photos of it. It had a couple little things, like there's a rub mark on the front bumper. All the wheels had been curved. But other than that, the car was like super clean.
Yeah.
So I flew down to Reno, and everything checked out. So I offered her 20 because it needed new tires, and she took it. So I literally paid 20 grand for it.
Wow! Oh! Damn! Wow! Oh my God!
Yeah, like it does handle, like if you know how to like respect it and balance it, it is a very intuitive,
Yeah.
fun car to drive.
Well, it's a fucking race car.
Yeah.
It's a street legal production race car. Oh my God. Oh. I'm exhausted just from that.
Yeah. And that was just a,
That was just a taste.
we got like 2 corners.
Yeah. Okay, I want one of these.
Yeah, it's so raw.
You gotta really know what you're doing though. Like,
Right. Yeah, it's
you can't be a fucking moron.
if
with
you
this thing.
lift too much in a corner, the back end will get light and it'll oversteer.
Yeah.
And if you give it too much gas, you'll oversteer because
Yeah,
there's so much torque. So there's a really small happy medium of having just a little bit of understeer instead of a bunch of oversteer.
Well,
But
I love there was like always a disclaimer from Dodge that they could do 1G in a corner, but
oh yeah, on this
you
kid
got only if you know what you're doing.
right. Yeah, they do stick pretty well. It's just a lot of people push it too hard, or
Yeah.
they lift or do something weird and it upsets the car, and then they either overcorrect or it slides into something, and then that's it. The car's totaled. So
oh my God. Like,
you could just feel it like in that one corner, really like squat and grab.
Yes. Yeah. Like if you're not hammering it, you're just coming through the corner and the thing just fucking sucks in. But it's so raw, like you can't. Oh my God. That is like an untamed, just not from this world thing.
Yeah,
that
like,
doesn't exist in this world.
No, and like, and it's sad because there'll never be another car like this.
No, ever. I don't think any video will do this car justice, ever. He wants you to keep going. Oh my God. Wow! Yeah! Yeah! Whoa!
It's so much fun.
Have you taken this thing up to McCall?
I have.
How's that? How's it going up there with?
It was fun. I had to pass a lot of people, but it was
Yeah.
it was
Yeah.
fun. I've driven it to Sun Valley a couple times. I drove it back from Reno. That was the furthest drive I've done in it, was from Reno back here.
Yeah, that's a long drive, and that's not like a necessarily the funnest drive.
No, it was a lot of freeway.
Yeah.
Which this doesn't have cruise control, so I mean.
Wow, it does?
No, it doesn't.
Oh, it doesn't.
So it was kind of uncomfortable. Yeah, that was not a very. I mean, the car was comfortable, and I was so excited. Like I didn't care.
Yeah.
You know, I was just having fun. So that was probably my favorite experience with this car, because my dad is always like never thought we would have something like this in the family.
Yeah.
And so when I told him I was buying this, oh, I can't turn there. He got all excited, and I was like, "Do you want to fly down with me and check out the car with me?" And so he did. So we flew down together, and
That's awesome. That's a good father-son moment.
yeah, and seeing his face, like the first time he drove it, because I let him drive it for part of the way back, and like just seeing his face and how like excited he was to like be in this moment of driving like a car he never thought he'd be able to drive.
With
was
his son
pretty
too.
cool.
That's awesome. Is that where your love of cars came from, you think? Is from him, or?
Yes, he's a car guy, so he kind of got me into it when I was little, and yeah, it definitely stemmed from there.
Cool.